Okay, so number one, dirty kids do their own tattoos. So this is something that I've heard and seen a lot. So one, the Nova from Soft White Underbelly was talking about how she did her own tattoos with I don't even remember what she said, like a bobby pin, Barbie pin, whatever it's called. I don't even know, but I'm pretty sure that's what she said, and it's like that's definitely some hardcore traumatized stuff. Which makes sense because the point of tattoos, one has a spiritual side, which is to mark yourself up for different functions and different things that have happened, just like demons do. They actually have marks all over them, or at least some of them do. And also to try to make yourself look more tough or scary after a certain type of trauma, commonly sexual trauma. And you notice that, like in prisons, a lot of those people don't like chomos because the whole reason that they went down the path that they went down is because they got essayed. And of course, they went through other abuse too. But yeah, so doing their own tattoos. And earlier, I overheard a conversation of some dirty kids, as the saying is anyway, quote unquote dirty kids, which really just means, it just means homeless kids or homeless youth. So anyway, this one girl asked this other girl something about her tattoos and who did them or something like that. And she was like, I did them myself with a barbed wire fence. And I was like, that's some real hardcore sounding stuff right there. And she was, I don't even know, she was somewhere from like 14 to 18, something like that. And then as the conversation went on, she said she did them in prison. And I was already thinking that sounded like some prison stuff right there. 2, Alabama. I don't remember much about these situations, I'm not even gonna lie. But I remember one really funny thing happened in the bullcrap little, I don't even know what that was. Like one of those religious things where they know nothing about the Bible, but you have to sit there and listen to them read Bible verses for hours that they don't even understand themselves, for you to be able to get the free meal or whatever. And the meal was a peanut butter jelly sandwich and barbecue chips. To sit there and listen to them not know what they're talking about for hours. But yeah, anywho. So it was one of those, and the lady was calling on different people to share their thoughts on the verses. And then she called on this one dude, but then she was like, okay, nobody else, because I have to read the rest of this, and something. And this one lady was like, but you let him talk. And it's hard to explain, but that was honestly really funny. And then there was also this other situation that I really, really can't explain. But pretty much some, of course, severely broken dude from all stuff that happened to him, who also had some type of learning disability and birth defects, was like distracting the lady, and he kept pretending he was gonna hit her in the back of the head with the hand sanitizer bottle and stuff, because of course he was like severely developmentally delayed, and he just thought it was funny. And I mean, honestly, but anywho, when he was distracting the lady, this other dude was like, he wanted to make us forget so we could 1 get, 2 get, 3 get. It wasn't really, it's hard to even repeat. I can't even really remember it. That was also kind of funny though. Okay, so the ET phone home. So I was on the bus, and there was this one dude on there. OMG, wait a minute, I'm forgetting something. I'm forgetting the whole situation of the lady that had manifested. I should actually tell that one first. So scratch the ET thing. the lady who was really demonized and started manifesting because I didn't want her to sit with me. And she was saying that the dude she was talking to was her future husband from the past, and that I was her future kid from the past, and that the ET phone home dude was her future son from the past, or her past son from the future. I can't even really remember. And so anyway, to make a long story short, she was like harassing this dude for like some hours because she wanted him to marry her. And she, of course, had a whole bunch of stuff that happened to her. And she had been homeless for a really long time. And eventually she ended up sitting by me. I don't remember a lot, but I remember some of it. And she started like vibrating and foaming at the mouth and shaking and stuff and like chanting. And I was like, no, wait a minute. No, you need to move. And so then she went on her little future kid past thing rant and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I just ended up moving. And then she started like manifesting more. And yeah. So there was that. And on that same bus ride, actually, no, I'm forgetting something. I remember telling this one girl about it, and she was like, well, it's public transportation, so you can't expect it to be butterflies and rainbows. But anywho, the ET phone home story. So this dude was on the bus, and he was talking about he was an illegal immigrant from Canada, and how he had came to the U.S. to meet some girlfriend he met on some chat room that he had been sending all of his disability check money to. And what else was it? I can't remember a lot about this either, but he was talking to me. He was talking to this lady on the bus, and he was asking her about birthstones. And so every couple of minutes after she told him that she was a peridot or something, every couple of minutes he would be like, "So peridot, right?" And then I had a little bit of money, and so after a while, I ended up getting some corn dogs at one of the stops because I hadn't really been eating anything. And like I said before, bus rides are really, really bad for me because my blood sugar just crashes so many times throughout the whole trip. And back then, I was still under the impression that I didn't still have insulin resistance, so I just thought that like I was getting sad for whatever reason and didn't really know why. But no, I was about to pass out. So anywho, I eventually got some corn dogs, and the ET phone home dude was like, are you gonna share those? And I was like, yeah, you can have one if you want. And he was like, no, I was just making conflict. But he kept staring at it. And honestly, he probably hadn't eaten in days. And he obviously hadn't showered in a long time either. So I kept saying, I mean, if you want it, you can have it. Because I had two. And he was like, no, I was just making conflict. He obviously was hungry, but just didn't really want to ask anybody for anything. So yeah, there was that. Started listening to background noises because I'm hearing dogs barking. But anywho, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, the ET phone home part. So he was talking about how he got his phone stolen by an alien that came down in a UFO. I can't remember if he said this happened in Canada or if it happened in the US. But after he said that, this one dude was like, ET phone home. And so, yeah, there was the ET phone home dude. Actually, I'm just now realizing that I completely forgot some stuff from the whole kid future past thing lady. So this is something that happens to me pretty often when people like come up to me manifesting. There's also commonly like some divination in there. And to be truthfully honest, she's probably a broken anointed vessel herself, because that's what commonly happens. But anywho, just like with the cult situation, Well, not the current one, the other one. The what was that? The one in the redwoods. This lady was able to tell me some stuff about my life. And of course I didn't ask for this, but she told me some stuff about my family system and about my situation and why I was out here or out there on the bus really. And she also told me that I'm really smart and I can do whatever I want and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, yeah. Stuff like that happens all the time. On a more recent bus ride, there was this whole situation with this girl from Baltimore. And so she was talking to this dude at the back of the bus. And she was talking about my friends had got jumped just for mentioning my name to somebody because they didn't know how much people don't like me. And they got jumped and robbed and had a gun pulled out on them. All at 12 a.m. midnight on New Year's Day. And then the dude was like, they started off their New Year with a bang or something like that. And she said some other stuff and she was like, yeah, that's why I'm not in Baltimore now. And so anyway, speed past that, she was like, I hear voices in my head telling me to kill people, and I just tell them to be quiet because that's God. And then the dude was like, nah, that's not God, that's something else. That's some demonic mythological thing. And it's like, the conversations you hear when you travel is just really interesting. But yeah, she was like, I just tell it to calm down and it's not me. But yeah, after that, things got quiet for a little minute, and then she started talking about school again. So, I don't even know what to call this. I just wrote down the black nigger god story. So, pretty much, to summarize, this lady who was staying at the shelter felt bad for this one older guy who was really Jezebel because he had become really bitter due to all the things that had happened. And so, funny thing is, a little after she talked him into letting him in, he ended up getting her kicked out pretty much. But anywho, every night, well, not even every night, even in the daytime, he would like go on these little rants where he would cry and scream all day. And I had already been regretting letting somebody talk me into even staying at the shelter. The reason I went was because my tent had flooded. And none of the staff really wanted, I mean, they didn't really care to a certain extent, but I'll say the ones at the top didn't really want to let me in because nobody believed that I'm older than 12. But anywho, I was talked into going, and then this made me regret it all over again because I couldn't sleep once he came. Which honestly, he came like a while later. But anywho, it would be the middle of the night, and then he starts screaming and crying and banging on stuff and throwing stuff. And he'd be like, F you, you black nigger god. F the black nigger god. And he would do that all night long. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. And then he was like, this is why I don't like black niggers. F the black nigger god. The black nigger god is something. But yeah, I started losing so much sleep. But yeah, he'd be like, God's a black nigger and F the black nigger god and F black niggers. And he would just say that over and over again and a whole bunch of different stuff about niggers this, nigger that. And it's like, we get it. We get it. And honestly, he's not even the first one because honestly, this is common in the homeless community. Like being woken up in the middle of the night to people screaming, I don't deserve to be treated like this. I'm not a nigger. And it's like, dang, can I just sleep? It's like, I would literally be woken up at 2 a.m., 12 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. by people screaming different things like that. Or by people saying, white privilege isn't real, because look at me, and all types of bull crap. And it's like, it's so common in the homeless community to have to, like, hear stuff like that all day. So another interesting situation was some dirty kids. So this girl had a plaid shirt that she like had tied around her waist and was sitting on or whatever. And then she picked it up, and then this other girl was like, why does it have the Pornhub logo on it? And she was talking about how she drew it on there, and then she started showing her other art. And yeah, she switched the convo real quick. Another thing that was interesting that I noticed a lot, especially every time I go back around GA. Every time I go back around GA, there's always some parent looking for a runaway kid or that's trying to flee the state but can't because their kid ran away. So, one time specifically, I remember this meth heroin up lady coming in the Greyhound station with a picture of her missing daughter, talking about how she ran away and how she was trying to get her to come back and she doesn't understand why she ran away. Honestly, the way you walked in there looking all methed up, that was enough right there. I'm not even gonna lie, this happened literally earlier, but I don't even really remember what she said, and my notes don't really help. But some dirty kids were talking about different little druggy stuff, and they made this joke about something about zombies and pronounced it knee as kani and zombie juice and injecting it into people like heroin. Oh yeah, I remember now. So a post-apocalyptic zombie juice that you inject into people that turns them into zombies like heroin, something like that. I'm not even really saying it right, but yeah, my memory is like not the best, and I'm also kind of dissociated right now, I think. But what was the other thing? Oh yeah, this goes into some racial stuff. So I kind of, or at least I think I did, I kind of talked about some racial things that had happened to me a couple times over the years, and even this whole situation with Border Patrol for Canada, and how like they were saying that they don't believe that I had a dad, and then I don't seem family oriented. They don't really believe that I'm American, that they think I'm an illegal immigrant. I'm supposedly trafficking narcotics. A whole bunch of other bull crap that they accused me of. But how do I put this? So I was at school, and this girl was talking about how she grew up in one of those, the common culty little Jehovah's Witness religious organizations, and how she wasn't allowed to have a DS, like the Nintendo one, and she wanted one. So she started doing what she had to do to make money to secretly buy one because her parents wouldn't let her. And she was like, I started trafficking drugs across the border because I wanted to get a DS. And I'm like, you guys can literally just get in the car and start trafficking drugs across the border, but I can't even walk in the stores. And it's like, dang. It's just like, that's the way the bag crumbles, I guess. Another thing with dirty kids, and just something I've honestly heard from a lot of people, and this kind of goes back to some racial stuff too, like dirty kids and just other people in general talking about how they just walk in the stores and start stealing champagne and wine and all types of stuff. And it's like, you can just go steal. How do you even do that though? Because aren't the bottles usually like huge? But to just be able to walk in and steal multiple glasses and do it for years and years and just keep doing it and no one ever says anything. So, yeah. And then lastly, this lady who was hoarding windows. So she was getting kicked out the shelter and she had like hoarding issues, I guess due to like the brain damage and stuff from the drugs and whatever else. And I was helping her clean up. And while cleaning up with her, she pulled out a whole window frame in a window. And I was like, and it had blinds attached to it too. And I was like, wait a minute, where did you even get this and what do you even need this for? I was like, you can throw this away. She was like, well, no, I might need it one day. And it's like, I don't even know. Yeah, so. Oh, no, that's not the last thing. The last thing is the Manhattan chai demon dude. So I was in New York Port Authority, and there was this dude who was like really demonized, and so he would just break out into like Michael Jackson dancing fits, and like Michael Jackson actually had spirits that helped him do the little dances he did, and so he would break out into dancing fits, and it was really good too. And then his eyes would like roll to the back of his head. And so this one day when I was in New York Port Authority, trying to bust my art and hurry up and make a couple dollars selling art before the police came and tried to arrest me, he came up and he was like summoning something. He was chanting and he was talking in different languages, some Asian language like Japanese or something. And he started throwing up the hand symbols. And he was doing it fast. And he was really doing it how it's supposed to be done. And he was chanting and summoning it for like a while. And then he came up on me. Well, he already had came up on me, but he like started moving real quick, and then he threw up more hand symbols, and then he did the thing where you look up in the air and his eyes roll back to the back of his head, and then he started talking in Japanese or whatever more, and then he started throwing his hands around more. And he started doing like the foot movements, and he was about to do karate on me. And then I started walking in the other direction. And then this other dude started running. He was like, that nigger scared me too. Oh no, actually I'm missing stuff. Also, he stole my art and my folder. I didn't have a lot left though, but that was that. And then I couldn't make any more money, but I had already made a lot of money. Cause honestly, I probably shouldn't even take the money in situations like this. I know it's honestly really risky, but like I had already made a good amount of money because this Russian lady who told me she was a shapeshifter alien from what was it, Andromeda? She gave me $100, and then I made a little bit of money selling art, but not a lot. You can't expect to make a lot of money in places like that. Manhattan is New York in general and Jersey. I mean, people know the stereotypes and how it is, and I mean, yeah, so you can't expect to make a lot of money, but I made something, and yeah, so I was still pretty good even after all my art got stolen by the demon possessed dude. I never got any of it back. I don't know what he did. He probably put it on like some altar or something. He probably asked to project it. Actually, no, another thing. This is honestly kind of sad, but I still feel like her reaction was also kind of funny. But it was real though. So this one homeless lady, New York Port Authority, was trying to get somebody to buy her breakfast or dinner or whatever. And I think this was on Christmas Day too. Or was it Thanksgiving? It was one of those. I think maybe Christmas, something like that. And she sounded really sophisticated with it. She sounded like a news reporter and everything. She had like the right tone of voice. She was using big words. And she tried. She really tried. She walked up to some people and she was like, it's the holidays and I don't have any family and I haven't eaten in some weeks. Or some days, something like that. And she was like, it's Christmas and do you have $1 you could spare? Could you like get me a sausage biscuit or some dinner for Christmas? Cause I don't have any money. And she was like, please and everything, and they were like, and then she was like, you know what, F these people. It's sad though, but I mean it was still a real response. But it's like it's the way that she switched up. I understand why she did switch up, but the reality is though, people really don't care, and with the way things are going and like the dollar falling, it's gonna be even harder for everybody, and people are gonna get even more self-centered. Because of course, as we all know, the Bible verse, in the last days, men will be lovers of themselves. So instead of people coming together and standing for what's right and helping each other, People just tear each other down, and you can't expect anybody to do anything for you. It doesn't really matter if you're 5 or if you're 4. You really can't expect it. Even though, I mean, that's how it should be, but that's not how it is. So, yeah. Actually, to add on one last thing that just happened today, I had went some days ago and asked around for like canned goods, because like I said, the only thing I came out here with was 3 bottles of water, peanut butter, some pistachios, which I ate really quickly, because of course with the leptin resistance and stuff, I like eat a lot, so it's hard for me to even save food, and then some peanuts. And I've been rationing the peanut butter for like 2 weeks. Well, not for like 2 weeks, for 2 weeks. I just finished it today. And so I was about to try to eat the canned goods that I had got from someone like a week ago or whatever. And then I was eating it, and it tasted like copper. Like, really, really like copper. Like, it had sat for just too long. And I look at the bottom, and it says 2008 expiration.